What's up, family? Man, we're going to talk about reconciliation. Reconciliation. And first and foremost, let me clear up something. Reconciliation is not forgiveness. Okay? They're two totally different things. Forgiveness and reconciliation is two different things. In order to have reconciliation, there has to be forgiveness. Okay? You can forgive and not reconcile. Stay with me, we're going somewhere. So I woke up this morning. All right, what are we talking about, God? You know what I mean? Several times I've tried to come up with a topic of what we're supposed to be talking about, but I didn't get anything. 4:20 this morning, I was awakened, and the topic of reconciliation was on my heart, it was on my mind. And I was like, all right, God. Reconciliation is the bringing back to peace, the bringing back into one. Reconcile, to bring something back together, to make it whole. See, you can, in order to do that, in talking about relationships, in order to bring a relationship together, in order for people to reconcile, there has to be forgiveness. There has to be a process taking place. Reconciliation is a process. You know what I mean? Stay with me. See, you have to be able to sit back and say, okay, man, and it's not about pointing fingers or you did all that stupid stuff. And that's why most of us don't reconcile. That's why most of us cannot reconcile, because we've never understood the process of reconciliation. It's not just between me and you. It starts with me first up here. To reconcile with somebody else, I have to first reconcile with myself. I have to acknowledge the fact of, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I didn't do this, I should have done this, I said this, I shouldn't have said this, We have to go through the process in our mind first. We have to come to grips with the truth. Not what we wanted the truth to be, but what the truth is. Okay, in order for me to reconcile with another person, I have to be reconciled with God. I have to be reconciled with myself. See, so many people, they get back together, but they've never reconciled. They've reconciled on a superficial level. They've, okay, you know what, we're not going to talk about it, and and you did and you did you cheated on me, you did this, you did this, and we're going to come back together, and I forgive you. And none of that is really taking place. None of that has taken place. All that's really come, I need you, you need me, come on, let's make this work. Well, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to sweep everything up under the rug like ain't nothing happened. And I'm still going to hold you accountable. And I'm still going to hold you hostage because of what you did. And I'm never going to forgive you. And I'm not going to give you no sex. And And I'm not cooking for you. And I'm not going to buy you your nails and buy you this. And we do all this stupid stuff because we've never reconciled. We've never forgiven. True reconciliation is a process that starts here and here, in your heart and your mind. You have to reconcile your heart and your mind and your spirit. See, those three have to come back together to be in alignment in order for true reconciliation, we're talking about relationships, to take place. Okay? When I reconcile, when we reconcile, we sit there and say, okay, my heart and my mind has been at war. My heart says, I love you. My heart says, I forgive you. My mind says, oh, hell no, I can't forgive you. Or your mind says, nah, you've embarrassed me too bad. You caused me too much pain. You caused me too much grief. You embarrassed me in front of my family. You embarrassed me in front of the community. You dogged me out. I'm going to look like a punk. I'm going to look like a sap. I'm going to look like a simp. I'm going to look like a sucker taking you back. And so there's this war going on between your heart and your ego. See, because your ego wants to play the victim. Your ego wants to be illogical. Stay with me. And your ego don't ever really want you to be reconciled. Your ego doesn't. And so your ego is going to tell you all kinds of things to keep you from reconciling. And so in order for reconciliation to take place, true reconciliation, you have to learn how to subdue your ego. You have to learn how to take control over your mind. You bring your spirit, your mind, and your heart together. Now you are whole. See, you can't be whole with another person if you're not whole, if you're fragmented. And that's where the great majority of us get messed up. We've never been whole. We don't even understand what being whole is about. We've lived our lives in constant turmoil. We've lived our lives in constant war. My heart been at war with my mind. And I don't even know how to silence the war. I don't even know how to silence the battle, to stop the battle. And so what happens the great majority of the time, we give into the ego. And the ego wins the battle. That's why the great majority of people don't understand true love. That's why the great majority of people aren't beacons of love. That's why the great majority of people don't manifest love. We talk love, but we live ego. We talk love, but everything about us is ego-driven. And so true reconciliation is me saying, okay, man, bringing my ego under control, bringing my mind, my emotions under control. And I do that, again, through meditation, through prayer, getting in alignment with God, with Source, the universe, the Most High, learning how to go within, deep within. I've talked about this several times and made 3 videos, the 3 brains within the human body. The brain in your gut, where your soul dwells. That's where God is at, within you. There's a brain in your heart. There's a brain up here. Most of us, this is all we know. Most of us, we're up here. We're up here. We live in our heads. We can't get outside of our heads. We can't get outside of our thoughts. That's ego. We can't get outside of our feelings, our emotions. That's ego. Your true nature is down here in your gut, where your spirit is. And the heart is what brings this and your soul, your spirit together. The heart, the love, is what connects the two. But you have to get out of this. Fear, anxiety, worry, doubt, unforgiveness, hatred, low self-esteem. All of these things are up here. All of these things are low vibrating. And they keep you disconnected from your heart, from your soul, or your spirit. I'm talking about reconciliation. How can you and your queen, how can you and your king, how can you and your kids, how can you and your mama, how can you and your daddy ever truly reconcile if you don't first reconcile with yourself? If they don't first reconcile. See, what most of us want, I want you to reconcile with my ego. I want you to come back and make things the way they were so you could feed my ego. So you could make me look good. That's all ego. That's vanity. Reconciliation is a process, and there has to be forgiveness. There has to be forgiveness. Forgiveness for the other person and forgiveness for yourself. See, you have to forgive yourself for being in your ego state at that time, for reacting, responding, or whatever it is that you did. For your part in the process that separated the two of you. And I know so many of us, well, I didn't do nothing, and it was all them, and they did it. You played a role too. If it was nothing else other than you getting on a low frequency and you thinking negative thoughts, you entertaining negative thoughts, we have to grow up. We have to stop playing the victim. We have to take responsibility for our lives. You have to forgive yourself for being a victim. And standing in judgment of the other person. Reconciliation. It's possible, but it is impossible without forgiveness. I love you guys. Happy healing.